Man, that's good. I really feel like Evan did his job by leading off. He got on base. I feel like Aiden came up here, got on base. First and second, they come up here and sing. The pitcher's so amazed that they're singing, he balks. So it's second and third right now. I probably need to get on base so Tyler can come up here and hit a home run. Turn to Haggai chapter 1. Haggai chapter 1. I'll give y'all some time on Haggai. Didn't really know where that was until I found it, so. I had something else ready before I found this, but I was just reading my Bible, and I found this, and I pretty much made a message out of it and had to preach it to myself. So when I'm preaching this, I'm not trying to preach it with any kind of arrogance or anything because I had to deal with it myself. So there's none of that kind of feeling. I'm just going to clarify that. Haggai chapter 1, we'll start in verse number 2. Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, This people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, It is time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and in this house lie waste. Now therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, Consider your ways. Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Consider your ways. So tonight, I want you to think about considering your ways. Now, in verse 5, it doesn't say, Now therefore, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider other people's ways. When there's something going on, don't think about what other people are doing about it. Consider your ways. Don't consider other people's ways. Man, these people are leaving over here, so let's talk about them. But no, what are you doing in trials? What are you doing when we're going through stuff like this? I got 3 points. I got 3 things you need to consider if you want to finish strong in your Christian life. Number 1, you need to consider your heart. In verse 2, it says, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, Thus people say, The time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. They didn't have the right heart. They wanted to sit around and wait. Oh, I'll get right with the Lord later. I'll be fine, because my time ain't come yet. I ain't got to rebuild the temple yet. Procrastination. They didn't have the right heart. Consider your heart. The second thing I want to say is you need to consider your home. Verse 4, it says, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Quit worrying about your worldly things and worry about your heavenly home. This world is not our home. We're just a passing through. So quit worrying about your worldly things. I mean, people invest all their money in stock markets and stuff. They ain't investing nothing in eternity. And they ain't gonna have nothing at the judgment seat. So invest on things above, not below. The third thing I want to say is you need to consider your habits. Verse 6, Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. They're caught up in the wrong habits. They're not rebuilding the temple because their habits are wrong. They need to consider their habits. They sown much, but they bring in little. They're putting so much into these in the worldly things. They're not thinking about rebuilding the temple. They got their mind set on the world and not what the Lord wants them to do. The Lord told them it's time for you to rebuild the temple, and they wouldn't do it because they wouldn't consider their habits. You eat, but you have not enough. You drink, but says you drink, but you're not filled with drink. Some of y'all are coming to church, but you're not in it. Y'all are doing spiritual things, but y'all don't mean it. You can be in church and sitting here listening to Brother Dennis, but your heart is so far off in another world, you're not even here. You're at church, but you're not at church. So you need to consider your habits. It says, ye clothe you, but there is none warm. You got clothes on, but your heart's still cold. Your heart's still cold to somebody else, to the preacher, the pastor. Your heart's still cold to the Lord. You got clothes on, but your heart's cold. He that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. You're investing all this stuff, and it's just coming out of the bag. You're putting all this work in, and it's falling out the holes. When you think you're changing for the Lord, and you're going on the right path, you just go back to your sin, and the money's just going through the holes. It's just falling back out. You're putting it in, but it's just coming back out because you're not considering your heart, you're not considering your home, you're not considering your habits. So you're not going to change. If you want to finish your Christian walk strong, you better consider your ways right now. If you don't consider your ways, you ain't going to change. You're going to keep doing what you're doing. You're going to put your money in that bag, and it's just going to fall out the bottom. So I just wanted to tell you tonight just to consider your ways, consider your heart, consider your home, consider your habits. That's all I got.